wonderful people. This is your girl Ty, Blaque and Kulture, and welcome back to another episode, not of the Good Culture podcast, which I did the intro for.
Run it back.
I'm not running it back.
Run it back?
We're here now.
Run it back.
This is actually not Good Culture.
It's not.
This is
I didn't even introduce my goddamn self.
This is the Blaque.
Hello, and also welcome back. This is your lovely co-host, Space
We do
Lloyd.
two podcasts. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, run it back. Hey guys, what's up? This is another episode of the Blaque Coffee Comics podcast. This is your lovely host, Blaque and Kulture, and
this is also your lovely co-host, Space Lloyd 8.
And welcome back. This is episode 4 part 2.
4.5.
4.5.
Yeah.
4 part 2 of the comics where the creators self-inserted, aka controversial comics. I'm sorry, I sound rushed, but we spent a good portion of the night recording these podcasts. We
have, and you know that's how dedicated.
So dedicated.
We are so dedicated to providing you with not only good anime recommendations, but honest critiques.
Anime recommendations?
Comic book. Goddamn, it is a long ass day. I didn't feel it until right then. I'm sorry.
I was like, anime? We do anime recs now?
We do that on the Good Culture podcast, but not here. This is Blaque Coffee Comics.
This is Blaque Coffee Comics.
Okay, so but we do take these comic book reviews so seriously because I just got back into comics and I like to think I know a little bit about it, and at least we give you a proper overview of what to expect. You know what I mean?
We try anyway.
Yeah,
we're a little wild.
Just a little bit. But are we honest?
The two of us.
Just the two of us.
Just the two of us. Yeah, we do. We do so. It's like we're drunk. We're just drinking coffee.
Yo, we're hyped up on coffee, and we got McDonald's in our system with the rhythm goddamn.
It's been 4 minutes too long into this podcast.
He must have been watching Flame.
Oh my god.
Reading it.
Oh,
sorry. But this is part 2 of this week's, which is 4.5, the episode where we, instead of doing 3 comics, we boiled it down to 2. And the overall arching theme is comics where the creators insert themselves. So if you heard episode 4, the first portion, we went over Starboy, which is the collaboration between The Weeknd and Marvel's animation comic studios, and they went to the 9s. So we did that one. So that's one where The Weeknd put himself into a comic. So go ahead and read that. Go ahead and listen to that synopsis. Dope stuff. Here on the flip side, instead of that espresso ass comic, high tier, absolutely find it if you can. But this one here instead is Flame. So Flame was brought out by.
Oh yes, Flame was released by Black Page Comics, written by Everett Montgomery, and illustrated by his wife, respectfully named Mrs. Montgomery.
Yeah.
I will preface this by saying this, and I have to say this because just in case anybody comes here and has something to say, this is my official. This is my official statement here. I am all about supporting comic creators. As a comic creator myself, I am about supporting them. However, this is, as a content creator and as someone who, that seat was hard. As a content creator and someone who values honesty and someone who values critiques, this show doesn't work if we're not honest about the comics that we come across. And this comic came with such high acclaim. Like, I don't know if you're familiar, but the name of Everett Montgomery is attached to a very, very popular TikToker and content creator named King and Queen Lion, who by no means is someone who lacks knowledge on comics and who lacks knowledge on the content he talks about. I'm talking about this man will argue down anybody about Marvel, DC, and anime. Like, he's really, really intelligent when it comes down to the nerd community. However, this comic does not show that. And if you have something to say about it, you can say it to my face, but I don't really care. I feel like if you are someone who supports him, you need to tell him the truth, and this is the truth about this comic. So that's my PSA.
You know, my PSA is super similar, but I'm gonna just be straightforward. We know Blaque and I both understand as creators ourselves that are making things for large or small audiences. It is always going to be easier to critique than it is to create, because people that are critical, hypercritical, all they have to do is look at existing work and make content from it. Hence why we do it. But for a creator, you're looking at a blank page and you have to step through mental barriers like, if whatever I make, is it enough for me? Yes or no? So you're stepping into a void and producing something. And without a creator, critics don't have a job. I get that. But at the same time, as a critic and a supporter, you need to hold the people you're supporting to a standard. It can't just be blind devotion, because when the comics that we speak about here and that we recommend and we review, we give everybody the same scale. Because what will be the point of having different tiers if we're just going to keep giving participation trophies? It wouldn't be fair to the creators themselves of each of the comics we cover if they don't get anything honest to improve or build upon. Because if we don't say it, but you're thinking it, you wonder why nobody is picking it up, why nobody's selling it. But everybody told me it's fire. But you ignored that one comment where they said, "Where is this going?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in order to retain our integrity, I'm going to tell you exactly what I saw, whether it's the good, the bad, the ugly. Because when we read it, damn sure people are thinking about it. So this one definitely came with a whole lot of hype. So all of our opinions here and reviews here are very well thought out. I don't care if it's like, if you don't like what we say, I don't expect you to like what we say, especially if you're already a fan and you already hyped it up with fire emojis. You are going to be upset. But by the end of this episode, you're going to understand why.
This is where the review starts. So,
you had about 11 minutes.
Buckle
11
in. Minutes.
We warned you, and let's enjoy this.
All right. So, let's go ahead and start with the general overview of the story. So, a brief overview of what the comic is about. Flame follows Everett, this young teen who, much like other young teens, he likes to sleep in late, talk in classes, crush on cute girls. And when we first meet Everett, he's been having these crazy dreams, having trouble sleeping because he's having these dreams that he can't quite seem to understand the meaning of. And in a wild turn of events, we find out that Everett isn't just dreaming. He's actually experiencing visions of the literal birth of his world and sneak peeks of his budding supernatural abilities. And all that comes to the forefront as he is saved by a mystical being and brought into this other realm. Through various trials and battles and encounters, we learn about Everett, his abilities, as well as the various people around him, such as his classmates, who are all descendants of this goddess of creation, and they all have purposes yet to be fully realized.
What are his abilities?
That is my...
Sorry, we'll put a pin in that. Okay, but that is the general synopsis that we're supposed to get from the end of the first issue. Backstory.
Characters. Mm-hmm. We've got a whole bunch of characters.
You want me to go to page 1?
So let's talk about the characters we actually get to see. We get to see and introduce to Everett. He's the main protagonist. Jamie. He is another protagonist and supposed to be Everett's Lance, like his second and his partner person. I don't know. He
just looks like another student that was in the same school.
He is. That's what he's supposed to be.
You have Jaleisha.
Jaleisha, the love interest, aka also another powered individual. Harley, her sister. Then we have Everett's sister, who he calls Nani. Everett's uncle.
Does his mom have any powers?
His mom. That's not his mom. It's his sister.
No. Oh, that was his sister that's raising it.
It's his sister. Then he has Everett's uncle. Then we have Jaleisha and Harley's mom. Their dad, who is Papa Smegma. And it's Papa Legba. It's Papa Legba.
It's Big Bag Salty Booty Daddy.
Oh my lord! It's. I'm not trying to.
It's not Papa Legba.
It's not Papa Legba.
It's not. And
it is supposed to be Baron Samedi, but that's
not Baron Samedi.
That's not Baron Samedi at all.
It is not at all.
Then we get introduced to Everett's ethereal dad, and
you have Lucifer.
You have
also, I think the
Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah, he calls himself He says, I am your death. So I'm going to refer to him for the rest of this as your death.
Your death.
Yeah. Your death.
Also, Blaze, who is
like a separate entity, but not a separate entity.
He is a familiar brother. I'm calling him a familiar brother. / brother to Everett.
Yeah.
Then there is the Fox spirit, the Phoenix spirit, and
there's also the dude with the monk.
Oh yeah, then there's
the monk balls on around his neck.
I don't know who that is. Oh, Lord. Then there's Trey. He's Lucifer's guard dog. I know this sounds like a lot if you're listening, but these are important character names, so just kind of bear with us. There's Trey. He's Lucifer's guard dog. There is then at the very end we get introduced to basically Father Time and 3 minions, who I am respectably calling Bad Lace Front number 2 with the weird Joker mouth and COVID mask. And those are all the characters.
The Karen who laughs.
The reason why we have to say it like that is because there are characters in this story, without getting too far ahead of myself, they come in and they disappear. Some of them have purposes, some of them are not named. So I am just trying to give you a brief overview, and hopefully you can use this as a template when we're talking about people so you know who you're talking about. Yeah. Fast forward. Setting.
The setting. What setting?
We don't know where this is.
We don't know where they're fighting half of the time.
We don't know what country they're in. We don't.
Time stops, I guess, but doesn't tell you when it picks back up.
We don't know.
There are pyramids next to Sherwood Forest.
I must say that this comic is the single most...
It's a lot.
It's very complex to describe, not because it's good, but because it's confusing. So, starting from the first issue, we have to move chronologically. That's the best way that we can get through this.
Okay.
Let's start at the beginning.
If we're talking about the origin story, the whole preface, it's supposed to be where, it starts off with in the beginning there was a void, right? So in the beginning there was a void, and God, who is a woman, and she wanted to create life, so what she brought into the universe could be appreciated. So she creates these worlds. In this void, female God births, it looks like 3 worlds.
Yeah, like Earth.
Yep.
It literally just looks like Earth, Mercury, and Venus. Earth, Mars, and Venus.
Yeah, something like that. And then she realizes that there was no life in the universe because the other gods fed on it. So is it really the beginning? You undercut the first 2 sentences by saying,
don't do it, bro.
We're going. If it's gonna be honest, I have to be honest. So you said, in the beginning, plot twist, it's not even the beginning. And this is 2 panels later.
It's the beginning of this comic.
So we'll keep it moving. So she realizes there's no life because the other gods fed on it before her in the beginning.
Correct.
She starts fighting the other gods night after night, holding them back on her own. And then she thought she was going to fail. So she made 5 angels. She made Malcolm, Martin, Ali, Lucifer, and Denard. And Denard. Denard doesn't fit. I can see why you say Malcolm. Okay. I see why you say Martin. Okay, cool. I see why you say Ali. Boss. And I see Lucifer. Okay, I see where you're going. And Denard. From fucking where?
Denard feels like...
Denard
feels like the cousin.
The cousin.
The cousin that always shows up till all family functions late, grabs a plate and dips.
Hell yeah. Denard. Thank God Martin, Malcolm, you're both dying. Let's call Denard. You go, yo... Power up. Sorry, but that's it.
High.
But that part is minimal in the grand scheme of things.
Yes.
So TLDR, Lucifer gets mad that the mom is away. Mind you, they're all aware that they were created while the mom was fighting off these other gods that are at the same level as her, and he gets jealous that she's not there. And he thinks, if I destroy the world with the gods, then she will come back to love us, even though she just made us 5 seconds ago. For whatever reason. So Lucifer turns against his brothers and her and helps the gods to end the life she created. But then the earth comes up. Oh, here's a key point as well, because I'm gonna bring it up in a second. Malcolm, Martin, Ali, Lucifer, and Denard all have their own individual colors.
Yes, they have specified colors.
Yes.
No in particular
It'll come up again later.
But it is important to know that each of them are like in their primary colors.
Yeah.
So red, green, blue, orange and like yellow.
Primary and secondary, because green and orange.
Okay.
But Earth, or the world she created, something amazing happened. Her creation fought for her and pushed the gods back and stopped Lucifer. So you have the gods pushed back by Earth. And the angels that are down did not help.
That sounds so wild.
So they overpowered the gods that she-god could not fight for herself. And then and they have their own colors too. So there's blue, there's green, there's pink now, and there's another red and another orange from Earth. So Earth's 5-color palette blew back the other gods from before the beginning.
Correct.
And then she holds them in the hand. How can this be? You're so small. How did you evolve so quickly? And here's the kicker. The first thing that Orange Creation superhero says is, a king is only as strong as his queen. You are our mother, so we will always be here when you need us, and we shall always be your flame. Sounds great, right? Start of the first part. A king is only as good as his queen. Who the fuck is the king in this intro?
They're the kings.
They're the children. She did not make a king. She made a creation to enjoy and made angels to protect. But you're only as good as your queen, but the queen doesn't have a king. Did they just say that the queen was worthless? In a sentimental way? You tried your hardest, but sometimes that's not enough. But good. What was that supposed to be, a dynamic farewell? And then after that quote,
it is now present day, and we're gonna speed this along because if we went bar,
this is only issue 1.
If we went bar for bar, it would take us all day, but issue we're not. 1. So fast forward, Everett, who the main character I mentioned earlier, he wakes up. His Nani, I'm assuming is the older sister, but it could be his mom, but he calls her Nani, so I'm assuming it's the sister like Nani from Lilo and Stitch.
I guess.
So Nani wakes him up, he eats breakfast, they have this very clunky exchange. I'm going to get into some parts here that do come up later on. And basically the uncle comes and picks him up. And then we move on to episode 2, or issue 2. The uncle... Dialogue. It's gonna come up more than once, but the dialogue in here is super clunky. Like not. It's so clunky. That's the word I come up with. It is because it gives me very AI wrote this. Like, you know, AI draws my picture, but it's not pretty. The AI just like, how is your day going? Oh.
It is going well. I should tell her that it's going well. It's great, Sugar Plum.
Oh, wow. Do you like pickles? Like, it's very...
Pickles are delicious, duh.
Pickles, too, are great.
LOL, you are so crazy. I can't wait to be your love interest 2 issues later.
I am not joking. The dialogue is that bad. I'm not even being funny. The uncle does call Everett Sugar Plum on his way to school. After they have an exchange about Everett disliking his uncle because he had a hard life and doesn't know who his dad is, the uncle's like, well, I took care of you too. Like, you should show me respect. Then Everett and him kind of like do a mini reconcile, like not like, you know.
They don't even say, I'm looking at first issue 1 and 2. It doesn't even say whether or not the person that made him breakfast is his sister or his mom. It is
not specified, but I'm assuming it's a sister. I mean, also, if your mom is gone, like older siblings often take care of their younger siblings.
Yeah,
as
but then
they are the parents.
Yeah, but he has an uncle that picks him up that says, I basically raised you. But they're living separately.
We're not getting into this. That's literally small fish.
Yeah, okay. It is.
That's literally
compared to everything. It's just I don't even know if this is the wife, the mom, the sister, whatever. But okay.
But again.
But this motherfucker says, "Later, Sugar Plum."
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on. But
crazy.
I'm not even gonna rest on that because then we move into later on. This is probably, and there's a lot of egregious moments, but the beginning of this. Issue 2, we move into the second half, and Everett is sitting in class. The teacher goes, this is direct quote, "Can anyone explain to me the definition of the x-intercept?" Cool. Everett goes, I'm not sure if this is a thought or an outward speak, but I'm guessing it's outward speak because the teacher responds.
Yep.
He goes, "Oh God, it's the same thing every day. Obviously, we can't learn anything in this class." The teacher goes, "What was that, Mr. Montgomery?" Everett, "Nothing, sir." "Oh no, you must have all the answers, right? Maybe I should ask your father."
Why the fuck would a teacher say that?
Who the fuck says that?
Everybody throughout this whole page wants to be Sasuke. Everybody wants to be Sasuke.
It's like the teacher rolled initiative and got a 5 for dialogue. Awful. Just awful. Then Everett gets mad and says, "What did you just say?" Then love interest Julisha comes behind him and says, "Everett, you should calm down before you blow up." And then Everett goes, "Would that be a bad thing?" "Oh, stop. You so crazy." I fucking can't. This comic is so stupid. These characters sound fake. They do not sound like people. They sound like robots.
It either sounds like a grade schooler was writing high school dialogue, or an adult that hasn't been in high school for fucking years is writing a dialogue that he thinks high schoolers have nowadays. Like, if I wanted my character to be edgy, everybody's gonna sound sarcastic. Why would the teacher interrupt his own class with some dumbass respond like, "Why don't I ask your dad?" Ooh.
So, taking a moment, let's get into some other aspects, not just the dialogue. Let's talk a little bit about the art. Now, the art is actually one of the few things I have to say that, honestly, I enjoyed plenty of elements about the art. Not enough to dignify this getting anything of worth my time. But the art has some high notes. And
what do his locks look like?
We're not.
What does Everett's locks look like?
I said high notes. Let's talk about the high notes.
High notes. Okay.
One, there are some panels of Julisha I really loved. Yeah. Especially in when we get into later issues, like in chapter 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm sorry, 7, 8, and 9. There are some panels of Julisha's face where she's looking straight on that are just fucking gorgeous. I loved the art. I think the color palette's really cute. I'm someone who loves neons and pastels. Yes, it does give very much 2013 Tumblr, but my heart is still in 2013 Tumblr. In the back of that feed, still shooting off My Chemical Romance and Linkin Park quotes, R.I.P. Chester. My heart is still there, so I don't care. For me, this art gives something. And honestly, the art is the best part of this comic.
Well, look at how you dated it, though. 2013, 2014 Tumblr?
I have to put it in its right era. It's definitely not current era.
It damn sure isn't. I agree with that, objectively.
But honestly, yeah. And of course, the
transformations, though.
Oh, yes.
Those transformations. Spot on.
Honestly, if you high-key, Mrs. Montgomery, I'm not even being funny. You should definitely invest in furry art and sell to furries because your art is top-notch for the furry community.
For the furry community. For the neon furries.
Bank. You would make so much money.
Glow in the dark, make a fox bark.
Listen, the furry community pays. Okay.
Hell yeah.
That seems so condescending.
Allegedly.
That seems condescending, but I'm being serious.
It's not.
Like, your art, it's literally Harley, who's I forgot Harley. Harley is Julisha. No, I didn't. Harley is Julisha's sister. She has a fox transformation. That was oh my god.
Is that the one with the leather?
That is the
one with the black?
It's the one with the black and the purple and blue.
Yeah.
I was oh my gosh, my inner child is buzzing. I love this.
Yeah.
The transformation, especially Everett has a Super Saiyan God transformation where he has blue hair and gold stick-on tattoos. I don't care what you say. I thought it was great. It's one of the few things I love.
What I'm saying is the panels that had the transformations are dope. They are. If it's a panel where it's just supposed to show the character hitting a new stage,
or this one in episode in chapter 3 with Everlook on, I think it's well proportioned. However, those are my highlights. But I could take a moment to get into the lowlights, if you will.
The lowlights.
The lowlights.
Where's the background?
The background.
Where's the background?
The background is ethereal.
The ethereal.
The background is the ethereal.
My question is, where is that same level of dedication and effort? Because I could talk about the animals, but we'll get into that later. If we're talking specifically about the characters, what happened to Jaleesha's room when she transformed? What happened to whatever room that Everett was in when he woke up the second time? Because he went to sleep and woke up in 3 separate rooms. So I went back and I checked. At the beginning of the story, Everett is in a room where he has red bed sheets at home.
Yeah, he has white bed sheets at home.
No, he has red.
He has red?
On issue 1, his bed sheets are red.
Okay, you're right.
His bed sheets are red. Issue was it 4 or 5 when he finally gets home?
Reddish, brown, white bed sheets.
Yeah, but they're like pink. They're more like a whitish pink.
Okay.
So the second one, and that's somewhere else, but he's comfortable enough to be like, oh, how did I get home? So I'm assuming it's home, but he has whitish pink bed sheets. And then the third time he goes to sleep and wakes up, he has blue bed sheets a completely foreign, with stripes, somewhere completely unknown. But my question is, the second time that he woke up, we're talking about background. Because when you're making a comic, it's nice to have an ethereal, vague background when you're doing concept art, when you're doing the cover art. But the question that's always going to be in the back of someone's mind is, where is this happening? Because it leaves some confusion when Jaleesha is going through all of her little transformation stuff in her room. But for some reason, when it gets overpowering, somehow she gets teleported to the underworld.
Because she opens a portal with her powers.
Where did the portal open? You didn't see a portal is opening. You just saw
there. Came up later. The portal opened.
Yeah, but if the portal was opening and she was awaking into her new powers, what happened to her room?
We get that.
Did the room explode? Did it start getting
phased out?
She has a phoenix.
The portal opened. That's it. That's all I can say.
Where did the portal open? Did you see a portal opening like when the wolf ran away?
Let's not even that's honestly being too technical.
It's not.
Let's just talk about
the background didn't get as much love.
The background did not get much love. One of the chapters I'm looking at now, it's chapter 8, and they're in, like I said, they get transported to this place that is clearly not Earth, but is somewhere else. And
if it's not Earth, then why is there a pyramid?
That's what I'm saying. There's two different like environments going on.
Yeah.
There's part environment where it's woodsy and there's trees and there's soil and there's forest and there's like gravel, rock, almost like maybe they're on a mountainside.
Yeah.
And then there's same environment, maybe like 100 yards up, there is nothing but sand and desert and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's no explanation as to how they got there.
Yep.
Also, let's get back to characters and random plot points that just pop up out of nowhere. We get to episode 8 and a character gets introduced named Jamie, who
the fuck is Jamie?
Who previously in episode 1 through 7
does not exist.
He wears the same uniform, because all the kids wear uniforms. Wears the same uniform as Jaleesha and Everett. But he was not in the classroom with Jaleesha and Everett when the teacher was flaming on Everett.
Didn't even get acknowledged. He didn't even show up where it's like, bye, Sugar Plum. And then Jamie comes up, hey, bro, you better get your uncle. Nothing.
Or was walking in the background. Never existed. When we get introduced to Jamie, Everett is getting the snot kicked out of him by Trey, who was one of Lucifer's guard dogs, who we'll get into a little bit later. And he's walking through this portal at the end of episode 7. He's walking through this portal and he goes, at my best recount voice, well, time to get home. I wonder if the elder got food. Question 1. Who's the elder?
Who the fuck is the elder?
We'll never find out either.
Yeah, because the dragon says, it's about time we go see the elder dragon.
Right. Part 2. Or do I have to hunt again? Why are you hunting? This never gets visited again.
Why do you not go get groceries? Why is this school student going, I should hunt?
He goes, is that Everett? Question mark. Then there's a random panel of light, which doesn't make sense. And then there is a mushroom cloud explosion with, I lied to you not, word art lettering that says,
it is Microsoft Word Art. It is
Microsoft Word Art. All of the SFX lettering in this comic is Microsoft Word Art.
It is,
and I am not lying to you.
That's not sarcasm. That's not even a dig.
It is. If you pick the first 3 colors, orange and red, green and blue, and like purple and blue, it's word art. I went into the program just to double check to make sure I wasn't fucking lying to myself.
You did?
And yes.
It really is?
Literally just word art.
I knew it. And it looks like it. It looks like it.
So there's that. And then Everett, mind you, we know nothing. We know nothing about Jamie.
Nothing.
But Jamie and Everett both know. They talk as if they've known each other for a while.
Not only known each other, but they talk like they've been fighting together for ages. They say the same word. They say, rage up. When did they fucking coordinate that?
Yes. So they have this moment. Okay, so like I said, Trey is one of Lucifer's agents of darkness or whatever. He can transform into a wolf and can call other wolf furry creatures, which, by the way...
Or again, hedgehogs.
They're like spiky wolves. They're hedgehog wolves. Hedgehog wolves. And so, you know, as they're coming on, Everett goes, hey, can you transform? Jamie goes, of course I can. I didn't know that, but okay.
Me neither.
And then Everett goes, are you ready? Jamie goes, always. How always? How sway? We just met you.
Yeah.
How sway? We just met you.
He didn't go, wait, you can do this thing too? I didn't know. Nothing like, I never seen this thing. Nothing. It's just, can you transform? Yeah.
Then, as we skip through the rest of chapter 8, you know, going into chapter 9, we just... Also, this comic moves at an incredibly fucking fast pace.
At a chaotic pace.
1 minute, you are in a class... Issue 1, you're in a classroom.
Yep.
I'm sorry, issue 3, you're in a classroom. Issue 8, you're fighting fucking Lucifer. Like, actual Lucifer.
Yeah.
The Prince of Darkness. And I'm just trying to figure out how sway. How we get here. Why? I don't understand it. It's not making a lot of sense. But however, you know, we're in chapter 9.
And you know, but you know, you gotta respect the art. Like, they have locks.
Yes,
but
I love the art.
You admit it.
I like the art.
Admit it. The locks that Everett has look like udon noodles.
Yes, the locks do look like udon
They do,
noodles.
don't they?
And if I could be more critical of the art, there are moments in the art where, depending on which way the character is looking, the face looks a little more choppy than it should.
Yeah, the face, or even the minor details, because the background is almost non-existent for the majority. But it looks great like concept art. But you have to put that same, honestly, at least a similar level of effort into what's behind the character you're highlighting.
But the reason why I'm not as hard on the art is because there are comics out there that art is not so great, but the story is good. And there's sometimes like I said, it really depends on the different story. Like, prime example, we reviewed Everything is Fine. Everything is Fine has the most simplistic one of the most simplistic art styles I've seen from a comic in a very long time.
Yeah.
Story is fucking phenomenal.
Oh yeah, that was one of the first things I said when you were like, "Oh, read Everything is Fine," and I did. And in the first page, I was like,
"You were like, this art is trash.
This is super simple. It's something computer generated."
You said it.
But then I read
lifeless,
and it was meant for it.
And it was meant for it.
It fit for it. It made sense.
And again, I don't think the art. I don't think we would be as hypercritical on the art if the story was better. Yeah. I think the art is doing a lot of carrying for the story because, like I mentioned, like there's this panel in episode.
They're not in sync.
In episode 10. That is a picture of like Jaleisha had on a face profile. I think it's a beautiful fucking.
Oh, that photo. Okay, I'll be back.
Yes,
She's
it's so
gorgeous
cute.
In there.
It literally looks like a little shoujo profile picture. I love it. I think it's super cute, and I think that overall, as far as like Jaleisha as a character, it's a very good representation of her. Even all through episode 9 and 10, Jaleisha and her sister Harley have some. The art is probably the best in episodes like fucking. Episodes 9, 10 through 14, 15, whenever Papa Smegma comes through. Like, I think the art is some of the best. Yes, I call him Papa Smegma.
I would say that. I would agree with that.
Like,
but still,
look at the lighting.
But you can't. But the thing that I look for is the entire picture.
Of course, and that's what I'm saying.
And I'm only saying background because if Everett is doing a fireball for the first time in his room, what happened to the room?
First of all, let's not even talk about...
How did he fit a dragon in the room?
Wait a minute. If you're going to talk about power, random fucking power, okay?
Random power.
Jaleisha, meanwhile, as Everett and Jamie are getting the snot kicked out of them in other worlds.
Wait, but this is going to go into plot. We still have to talk about, as far as the artwork goes.
Okay, so just finishing up with art. art is. I personally think the art is good. Do I think the art is like amazing, out of this world? No, I'm being realistic. Honestly, the art is truly 2013 Tumblr. However, it's not bad. I think the artist has a good understanding of proportions for the most part. I think the artist overall has a good understanding of character. 50% of the time the characters are consistent. For the most part, at least, I do wish that if you're going to give Jaleisha textured hair, maybe perhaps Harley, but also, the mom had untextured hair, so I don't really know. But I think overall, art, if I had to give it like a cup rating, the art would have like 5 out of 10 cups. It's good.
So medium rose.
It is definitely a medium rose.
It's mid.
Like, it's good enough to get the job done. I think it has some very beautiful moments, but I do want more from the art. But that's not a bad thing. For me, the art can be mid as long as the story is espresso. As long as the story is blonde rose. But unfortunately, as we move into the story...
Oh, also the color palette was off.
Oh, I liked the color palette. Okay?
No, the color palette was off because at the very, very beginning, each individual character, where they didn't even say which one was Lucifer, which one was Denard, which one was Malcolm.
All the characters had
their own colors. But then you have one character that just changes colors. Every single character you saw either had red at some point or had blue at some point.
No, had yellow at some point or had blue.
Yellow or blue. Everybody had yellow. So who was the yellow god and who was the orange the orange person from creation? Like, if you're gonna say this is red Power Ranger, this is blue Power Ranger, but they just keep using whatever coins to choose their color to level up because they're scared, then don't introduce that they're unique with colors at all. Because the color should have at least some kind of meaning.
Color is just complimentary at this point. Also, I should mention the panels have moments where they have weird gaps in them. Some panels don't feel like they fit. Sometimes the panels just look like they were put into the webcomic badly. Not sure what's going on with the panel situation.
The dragon didn't even have scales. Alright, I'm not going to talk about background anymore, but the dragon and the snakes.
Okay.
The dragon didn't have scales.
Lloyd wishes that the dragons had more scales.
But like a caterpillar.
Not a caterpillar. I don't know. He definitely. All the dragons look like dragons.
Tell me if I'm being too critical.
Okay.
Whenever I consider drawing, or when I do my painting for my minis, whether it's a dragon born or an actual dragon, what's the first texture that you think about? Whether it's a chromatic or whatever.
The scales.
You think of the scales. Yes.
However,
so when they're non-existent, what does it look like?
However, I think you're expecting D&D level art when this is not
D&D level is completely irrelevant, because I'm not saying I need it to be hyper realistic, because I'm not looking for hyper realistic dragon. I just need a dragon with some kind of scales instead of it coming across like soft fur. And then snakes also have scales.
Snakes do also have scales.
That one had measles.
Okay.
Scales at least are tightly packed, and it's fine if you disperse them, but they were evenly rounded like bumps.
I realized the art in this comic should not have had so much trouble, since like if they did it in Procreate or Clip Studio Art, even Adobe, they have brushes that do all the work for you.
They do.
Like, they have background brushes, they have scale brushes, they have people make pens and brushes. And you can, if you're doing Procreate, like on an iPad, you can make your own brushes. There are people who make their own brushes all the time. I literally see it on TikTok, and I have artist friends who like make their own brushes. It's, at this point, you just go on YouTube. It's a tutorial away. So, and this comic's been out in only for like a year, maybe a year and a half, which is well within the age of TikTok and automatic brushes.
Yeah, so you could have seen another point of reference or another resource that could have fine-tuned it just that much better. I'm looking right now at, what issue is this?
This is 12.
Issue 12. That Phoenix, where are those? Do you consider those feathers or tendrils?
They're like feathery tendrils.
Feathery tendrils for a phoenix. Like, so you look at that last frame, because the coloring, beautiful. I don't even mind if there's no background because they're in the underworld and she's transforming and shit. But are there any stray feathers that are like away from, like some feathers that might have fallen out?
You know,
those little things. Instead of those little white wisps of maybe it's air, maybe it's just awesomeness.
Maybe it's just awesomeness.
Maybe it's just awesomeness. Like, these little things add up to the full presentation. It's stuff that you're not like, what are these feathers? Or where are the feathers? Until they're missing.
Also, I understand that as someone who's been through multiple artists, I know that it is hard to not only draw pencil and ink. I know it's hard to color, it's hard to shade, and being the person to do all of that, and I'm sure that the artist also lettered everything. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it was a huge undertaking to take, to draw each panel, to ink each panel, to color, then shade, then letter each panel. I know that's a huge undertaking, especially if you're a first-time comic book maker.
It's huge, and let me be the first to say, I cannot do any of that.
And as someone who has seen the process,
I've had my past where, I might be able to sketch in like high school and college, and I did some graffiti, but to do lettering and to do all that, I have no experience in it whatsoever. I acknowledge that.
It's no small undertaking.
It's a huge undertaking.
And I give her, that's why I say I can't completely shit on the art. I give her props for doing the art, and I think doing the best to the best of her ability. And I don't think her ability is that bad, to be honest. Not. I just feel like the reason why her ability doesn't seem as great is because she's carrying the fucking comic on her back. Her back must fucking hurt. Her back, she must have goddamn scoliosis from carrying this story and the plot.
There is that additional pressure where it's like the writing isn't going to keep you. But the first thing you see in the comments, oh my gosh, look at that LOL, fire emoji. The pressure is 100 times more for the artist that really has to see it through.
Okay, let's.
If we're talking just story, I'm going to ask questions and see if you can defend.
Okay.
Because
I'm going to be in defense. You want me to be in? Okay. Cool.
I would like for you to. Maybe you can catch what I missed.
Okay, I got it. I got you.
So, why does the wolf call Everett bro?
You talking about the dragon?
Yeah, the dragon.
Okay.
Why does the dragon call Everett bro?
Because in my opinion, if I were thinking about this, right? So in the comic, there are things called familiars. They introduce this concept with Harley and Julisha. Harley has the fox thingy that's blue and pink. Julisha's is a phoenix, and then Everett has Blaque.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm thinking that a lot of the at least the way that they kind of gave off is that the familiars kind of had maybe the personality of I'm really pulling here. They may have the personality of the characters, so maybe because Blaze is like super in tune with Everett, he had the personality of Blaze and was like, yo, hey bro, like look out, that kind of shit.
Okay, then why doesn't the wolf dude that's Lucifer's pet communicate with another side of himself, the wolf side of himself? It's just him. Because
he's a shapeshifter. He does not have a familiar.
He does not have a familiar.
He is a shapeshifter.
Okay. Then when it says
more like a werewolf.
Okay. So why does Everett not recognize the red dragon, but then 7 issues later give it the name Blaze? Because
Everett was, if you remember, what is that? Stop it. And 1 of Flame. Everett is having the dreams, which give him the glimpses of his power.
Right.
Skip to 3, where he gets introduced to Blaze. Blaze mentions
a dragon. I should run.
Blaze reads his mind. Duh.
Okay.
Reads his mind.
Okay.
This is so fucking hard. He reads his mind. What was the question? I'm so sorry.
So we're talking issue 3. It's tough, I know. Issue 3, the wolf pops out and says, well, here's a better question. I'll ask a different one. Why does Everett not know who Harley is?
Okay, because this one I have a good answer to, okay?
Uh-huh.
So Harley is Julisa's sister.
Yes.
What if Julisha, because if you saw, Julissa has the black pants, white top. Jamie has black pants, white top.
Yeah.
Harley does not have black pants, white top. She has khaki pants, white top.
So if they have a different outfit, school. You don't know them.
They go to a different school.
Name one person you dated where you didn't meet their siblings.
I got this.
Don't worry, I'll wait.
No, dude in high school, I totally dated. Did not meet his sibling. But
you knew he had a sibling. What was it? You knew their name at the time.
I did know their name, but I knew they had casually mentioned it one time. And typically, when I first meet people, I don't come off with saying, "Oh, I have a sibling."
Yeah, of course, not someone you met, but we're talking about a love interest, and not just so this is kind of dipping into the one of the plot plants, as in something that you plant a seed in and you hope it nourishes, but you keep planting all these new seeds and not giving the original ones room to grow.
So the plot point is that Everett and Julissa are supposed to be love interests. However, they only share about 5 text bubbles worth of dialogue between each other, and 3 of the 5 text bubbles are actually within their brain cells. Like it's an internal thought.
No, they're not thinking it. They're just saying it while nobody's listening.
Oh yeah, they're saying it while no one's around, because this comic doesn't have thought bubbles. It
only has words. Oh my gosh, I'm not learning anything in the class. It's because the motherfucker wasn't thinking it. That's something he probably would think.
None of the characters can't think. That's why everybody.
You saying they don't have brains? They don't have motherfucking brains? So if we're talking about the love interest in particular.
Yes.
Everett and Julissa, the last time they talk is issue 3. And they don't, and it's something like, if it's to see you, girl, I'll be at that next class. Walk the fuck away. That's issue 3. They don't see each other again until issue 14.
Right, and then he kisses her, and then she dies.
And he says, "Hey, girl, I got so much I want to tell you." Doesn't say it like what?
Lucifer's seed kills her, and then Papa Smegma goes ahead and rebirths her. Which, let's
call him Big Bad Voodoo Daddy. Big Bad Voodoo Stepdaddy.
Okay.
Because you can't call him Papa Legba. There was no respect to Baron Samedi and Papa Legba's original and traditionally correct lore. So you can't say introducing Papa Legba and the people that actually participate in practice. Yeah, no, not even, because that's too close to Papa Legba. It's got to be Stepdaddy or Big Bad Voodoo Daddy Smelba.
Okay, Big Bad Voodoo.
Yeah, Big Bad.
That guy with the top hat.
Yeah,
that's who he is.
Stepdad Smegma.
So we're probably gonna have to cut this up, but let me give general arc overviews because there are arcs here. So first arc, Everett finds out he has powers. Goes to fight a big snake thing that can breathe fire. Gets consumed by a big snake thing that can breathe fire. Learns more about his power, powers up twice. Meets Jamie. Jamie and him fight wolves that... Jamie...
Pause. There's a snake that breathes... There's a snake that breathes fire. And it gets burned alive. And it says... What did it say? My insides are burning. What could this be? You know what the dragon says? Is that Everett that did that? No, is that my brother that's doing that? Who the fuck else could it be?
Anywho.
How did a fire-breathing cobra say, my insides are burning? You just fight fire with other fires.
Jamie and Everett beat up they tried to beat up Trey, who is Lucifer's demon spawn. I say Lucifer's demon spawn, but he's basically a henchman. Mm-hmm. So he goes, henches, he's winning as he's this wolf shape-shifting thing. Everett and Jamie end up powering up a second time, super power up.
Yep.
And now they're so powerful that they just keep consuming more power, and they're completely uncontrollable. Then Lucifer basically has to come down, and from wherever he came down from, no description there, and basically say, fine, I'll do it myself, but not as cool as Thanos, and begins to try to fight them. However, Shadow the Hedgehog, he looks like Shadow the Hedgehog, but he's not. Shadow the Hedgehog comes down and pulls out a Blaque with an X on it and says, hey, listen, don't make me have to kill you. Lucifer's like, you want to finish? No. Shadow the Hedgehog goes, oh, you want to finish what we started?
You talking about the Devil May Cry Jr. That's Shadow
the Hedgehog.
That's Demon Shao Week. With one gun.
With one gun.
One gun. Not Ebony and Ivory. Not Jackpot. That Virgil and Dante do. No. This man has this one has a black gun
with a red X on it. And he points it at Lucifer, says, hey, yo, leave the kids alone. Lucifer's like, oh, you want to scrap? And he's like, nah, you clearly don't want the smoke. Lucifer's like, yeah, you right. Lucifer dips, leaves the boys, and...
Let me ask you, what's that what is Demon May Weep's ability? What is he
up the boys and dips.
No. No. Don't skip past it.
And dips.
What is his ability? He shows the gun. He stands dynamically.
He rolls for intimidation, and he always rolls for intimidation. He rolls for intimidation.
I would have been TPK the party with that bullshit. You kidding me?
Anywho, that's the end of that arc. Meanwhile,
the mother. We skipped past the mother.
No, I did. I'm about to get it.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Arc 2: Julisha, Harley, Mama, and that guy with the top hat. So, Julisha is walking home. Julisha walks home, gets home, says, hey, Mom, what's up? Mom says, hey, girl, go upstairs. I want something to tell you. She's like, okay, cool. Julisha walks upstairs. There's a book on her bed. She acknowledges that it's her mom's book. The book has a RuneScape kind of petal thing that looks like a snowflake. And then as she sees it on the bed, she says the book is calling her, but there's no indication that the book is calling her. However, it still does. She picks up the book. She starts to read it. Realizes that it's voodoo.
Calling her.
Anywho, she realizes that it's voodoo. She begins to say this voodoo spell. She begins to power up. Same time, her sister Harley walks into the room. She picks up
a voodoo book to cast a Dungeons and Dragons spell. There's literally a D&D spell called Find Familiar. And she says, summon familiar.
She does say summon familiar.
She does.
Okay, Harley walks in the room and is like, oh my god, literally says, OMG, what's going on? OMG, what's happening? OMG, sister. Same time as Julisha is transforming, Harley also transforming. Both of their familiar spirits come out. Wolf for Harley, Phoenix for Julisha. However, the Phoenix and Julisha are going crazy. They're out of control. And as somewhere in this time, a portal to the underworld opens up. Okay? Keep this in mind, that a portal to the underworld just opened up. Keep this in mind.
But you don't see the portal open.
We never see it, but it opened up.
Somehow, they're just in the underworld.
So as this is happening, the familiar is talking to Harley and goes, hey, so I need you to use your melanin, which is the source of your power, to ignite your flame.
What's that?
And rightfully so, Harley goes, what is that? And she goes, oh, it's the source of your power, but let's not talk about that. We're not getting into it. Just know that that's what happened. So then Harley powers up. By the way, one of my favorite power-ups in this story is Harley's power-up because it does look super dope. It definitely is giving... When she powered up, I'm not gonna lie, my soul was like, oh my gosh, she's wearing triple NYC. Yeah. Oh my gosh, she's wearing hands on Hot Topic. I want that to be me so bad.
I ain't gonna lie. Her transformation was... beautiful.
Power up was chef's kiss. Anywho, that's not important though. It's really not. Her power up, she powers up, and then Julisha powers up, and she looks less cool, but still cool in her own right. And basically, Julisha is now overtaken by the Phoenix spirit, who's like, ha 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 ha. I am now all this power. You all will die. Blah 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 blah. Now, whole time, remember I said she came home. Her mom was home at the counter washing dishes. Mom doesn't hear all this commotion upstairs. She drops the dish breaks, she looks upstairs after asking, wonder what's taking my daughter so long. She sees a green light emanating. She runs upstairs, sees that the portal to the underworld was open, and she goes, don't worry, girls, Mama's coming. Transforms into a witch.
What's Mom's special ability?
Not asking that. So, fast forward, remember I said, portal to the underworld, right? Remember we said, the big bad voodoo daddy, stepdaddy, that guy, he was there the whole time. As the girls entered.
Watching them fight each other.
I don't know.
With the spell circle.
And right. No, mind you, no one else in the story has the ability to cast magical girl spell circles but Julisha. I don't know why. Everybody else is powered up. Everyone else has abilities. But Julisha is the only one who casts like a anime style magical girl cast sigil spell. Don't know why. Mom has to release fake Baron Samedi from his shackles because apparently big bad stepdad voodoo daddy is the only one that can calm Julisha down because she was gonna kill her sister Harley. So he basically is like, yeah, I've been trapped here for eons. The mom was like, yeah, you know what you did. He was like, I don't care, but are you gonna release you so I can save her daughter or what? And she was like, fine, I'll do it. I promise you that's the exchange.
That's literally it.
Cliff noted, but I promise you that's the exchange.
Is that my baby daughter? Is that my baby girl?
He does say baby
my
girl
baby
more than
bird.
Shamar Moore. He says baby girl.
Yeah, he says it like Shamar Moore.
Way more than Shamar
Outside
Moore.
of Criminal Minds, stay away.
Is that my baby girl? Is that my baby bird? Is that my love?
Is that my baby bird?
He says that.
Baby bird, how are you doing? Dad, is that you? It is me, baby bird.
Mom
baby girl.
casts Quick Spell, releases him with like her own.
She casts Dispel Magic.
She casts.
No, she casts Knock. Technically, that's not because if you're in chains, you cast Knock to magically unlock something.
You're adding way too much context to this. It's not even that. It's literally not even that serious.
This is the only thing the mom does, so I have to talk about it like this is her super secret thing because she had this dope ass transformation.
She surely did.
Don't worry, Mama's coming. So if you're gonna say Mama's coming, why are you scared and or surprised when you see your daughters?
So
and
then,
you are more help, like you're less helpful than the daughter that's about to die.
So then, Papa Nepop, he goes in there and he is able to calm Julisha down. He powers her down. Now she looks normal.
He puts her to sleep.
However,
and then the mom wakes her up.
However, 10 seconds later, the mom then wakes Julisha back up. And now, I don't know how he got here, but they are now next to Everett. They're next to Everett and Jamie, who's also next to Shadow the Hedgehog.
Wait, what's Jamie's weapon?
Jamie has the long Blaque and Mild.
It's the Blaque and Mild.
He has the Blaque and Mild. It's like
that's the blackest part about this whole thing.
He's supposed to be like Sun Wukong with like the pole, but it just ends up looking like...
You can't pull a Sun Wukong weapon.
It looks like a pixie stick, high key. But
it looks like a black.
But anywho,
it's a loose square.
It gets better. However, it gets better because so they're next to Everett and Julisha. Again, they only shared 5-6 text bubbles between each other. They talk and she goes, oh my gosh, Everett. He goes, oh my gosh, Julisha. She's like, where have you been? He's like, I have so much to tell you. They kiss. They lock lips. Don't know why, but they do. And then Trey, remember the henchman from Lucifer? He comes up, he swipes her, and then she dies.
Wait, so this part, which is especially fucking hilarious, because we've been going back and forth to determine if the panel or the quote-unquote camera, if this is animation, does it change?
The camera did change.
It does not change.
The way the
he literally goes up to it. It's almost like he broke the fourth wall. He said, look at that. I hate happy marriages. And goes back into the frame.
Forward into the frame. Swipes her, dashes backwards, and
back to the camera.
And then when the camera flips, it's back at Julisha. However, Julisha and Everett are flopped sides, and she's dead in his arms.
No, it's the same side because the mountain is still to the right of Everett. I'm not willing to debate
this because there's more.
There is, but he literally goes, "I hate what's going on behind me." One moment, dashes back, swipes her, kills her.
And it gets better.
That's more like it.
Because Everett now, because Julisha is dead, he now goes Super Saiyan God with blue locks, black skin, and those gold stick-on tattoos I was talking about.
He still has wings that he does not use.
He has wings, right?
Out of 19 issues, he does not fly on his own.
So then he goes to go kill Trey. He's losing control. His dad comes out of the sky and then blesses him and calms him down. Dad cures Julisha, which doesn't make sense.
What cures? He brings her back from life, from non-existent feathers.
Which doesn't make sense because Papa with the knees was supposed to come and bring...
Wait, and then on top of... Okay, so rewinding a little bit. After stepdaddy Smelba puts Julisha to sleep.
Yes.
And then 10 seconds later, Mom wakes her up.
She dies.
And then she's back. She still stays in Big Bad Voodoo Daddy's arms, and he gives her some more power to control her existing power. So he says, "Here's some more power so you can control yours, and I'll be with you shortly. Daddy's got some work to do." Oh, yeah. Whatever. So that Prince shit. So why did he just give her power?
Mama
and then
was there too, was she not? I don't understand this.
She walked out of the portal with Jaleisha. So after she gets this brand new power, she doesn't even get to discover, she dies.
Right. Okay. So
why
fast forward back? Fast forward back.
Fast rewind.
Fast forward back. We are Everett's dad. Yes, came down, and then we find out right in this moment. Everett's dad comes down, does the thing. Everett's dad goes, "Oh my gosh, you guys, you know." Basically kind of gives them the cliff notes of the backstory, letting them know that they have greater power,
blah,
and that something else is coming. So he says, y'all need to train.
Train for what? You already have Lucifer.
Everett alone has transformed 4 times in the issue. No.
He did the yellow.
There's right. So he has 6 transformations. Everett alone has 6 transformations.
Mm-hmm. No moves, just transformations.
Jaleisha has 2. Harley has 1. Jamie has 2. They are transforming at such an alarming rate I have never seen. And I don't get it. What are they training for if you can just think about what you want to become?
That's right. Because the dragon said, just think about transforming. Right. He said, okay.
Literally.
Tattoos.
If we rewind back to the past, Everett, there are 2 instances that just don't make sense. Everett, when he first when he's still like human, quote unquote, and Blaze is like, how do you become, Everett's like, oh Blaze, how do I become whatever? And Blaze is like, just think about it. He literally closes his eyes.
Oh yeah, because the dragon said, you have to transform.
Right. He literally closes his eyes, open them, and then he has like black tattoos, and then he becomes a dragon.
Yep.
Then, the second instance is he ends up getting knocked out. We don't know where he rests. We don't know where this mystical bedroom is. But he lays down in a mystical bedroom. That's the second time with the reddish brown sheets. And he has no clothes on because apparently he burned his school uniform off when he transformed.
Yep.
However, this man literally goes, oh, I have no clothes. The dragon Blaze says, imagine them. And he materializes clothes.
Yep, he materializes a red dragon jumpsuit.
And then, wait a minute, I forgot to talk about Blaze again. Yeah, Blaze and him fuse and never unfuse.
They never unfuse.
I think that also this must be the case for the other 2 as well. I guess maybe once they fuse with their familiar, that's it. Like the familiar is just inside them.
Deep inside.
Oh my gosh.
That is it.
That's the...
They're just there.
And then the end. I forgot to do it. Fast forward past the end. They start the training arc. And then we cut to the end. And there is literally white. And I say this very honestly. There are 3 characters. First we get introduced to White God. He is literally...
Father Time.
Discount Zeus.
Yeah. Motherfucking Zeus.
Great value white man Jesus. Literally sitting in a chair, and then we get introduced.
Zap Whitebeard.
We get introduced to 3 characters: Bad Lace Front number 1, Bad Lace Front number 2 with the Joker mouth, and then we get
Demon Throat.
a COVID-19 mask.
Yeah.
And these are supposed to be the people. Maybe Zeus is like another god. We're not really sure who Zeus is, but at the end they give us like this very menacing look with like the Joker.
The gods are awakening. We need to kill them now. Absolutely, master.
And then we get to see the Joker mouth from Bad Lace Front number 2 with the Joker mouth. At the end,
why? Why do they exist? What role did they play this entire time?
If you have sat through this hour of us shit-talking this anime, please no, not anime, the shit-talking this comic, let me say this, as I said in the beginning, it is that bad. And I can't, for the life of me, as we've discussed it, let me just go again over all the key... Man, allergic to it. Go over the key points
allergic to something this bad, yo.
Artwork was subpar at best. Character design, pretty decent. I liked it. But page flow out, panel layout, icky, gross, ill.
The same effort given to these character transformations
was not given to the rest of the comic.
Nothing to the rest of it.
Lettering, grammar, awful.
The grammar. How many times are they going to use the wrong form of there?
How many times are they going to miss a period or a comma?
How
many times are they going to use OMG in a sentence?
The snake said, this is a meal benefiting a king, instead of a meal befitting a king.
Grammar, awful.
Spell check would have saved lives.
Grammarly is free on all devices. Devices.
Autocorrect is as well.
Just bad.
Yeah, 2 people left out of the room.
Literally, then as we move into story, the plot is all over the place. The dialogue is trash. Grammar, punctuation, spell check. The story doesn't exist. The story is basically someone was high off LSD and they smoked that while doing shrooms and like drinking a whole bunch of liquor, and they were like, yo, I'm gonna throw these ideas into a bucket, shook the bucket, pulled out every idea except for one, and did Mad Libs and created this story.
Yeah.
And I'm not even that is me being polite.
That's being polite, yo.
This story is so badly constructed for, in my opinion, no fucking reason. There's no reason why the story is that bad.
You have people that have no abilities. Like the mama's coming and does absolutely. What was her abilities?
We don't really know what Everett can do. Everett just does.
Big bad stepdaddy can only put his daughter to sleep.
Which he did all of that, and he concealed her powers. Okay, how? Why? What is that?
What's the difference in each of Everett's transformations?
Harley, I think out of everyone, Harley, we see her fight. But how did we know she was going to die? The only way we indicated that she was going to die is when someone said she was going to die. But there was no indication that she was dying.
Yeah.
There was no blood. There was no gore. There was no scratches.
Nope. Everett doesn't even show a scratch.
Everett never shows a scratch.
His clothes are burned, but he never shows a scratch. But he transforms.
Even when they get slammed on the ground, none of them show any signs of damage. None of them are scratched.
No.
There is no battle damage. There is no... In stories, every character has to go through something. That is the whole point of go reading a story. It's humanity.
And power-ups do not equal growth.
You're right.
You're like, oh, this person's scared. Level up. You know what? It's written like whoever was Everett saved all the cool art for themselves. You have 6 different transformations. Like, what if Stepdaddy Smegma got one of the transformations? Now he has wings for whatever reason. Like, he was like, okay, I know about me. I know the character that looks like me, because this is my story, is going to have all the transformations. He's going to have the love interest that he only has to say 3 or 4 words to.
But the love interest is nothing. It's nothing.
But think about the dialogue. Think about the dialogue in issue 3. In issue 3, where she says to herself, I wonder if he knows that I like him. But that's something that I could picture a high schooler writing in their comic about a girl that he really does have a crush on but won't talk to in his class. It's something, it's not even high school level writing, don't get me wrong. Because it's like, oh my gosh, I love him so much, I wish he would know. But then that same girl, in reality, walks past him. He doesn't say a word because he's shy.
This comic has no depth. This comic has no nothing. These characters do not... It's like you get all the benefit of a journey, but there is no journey. This story is nothing. And it's empty. It is hollow. It is the bare outlines of something that could be. I appreciate the concept of the story. I mean that wholly. I can see because I know
melanin powers, where melanin is literally power.
I can see where he was coming from. I can see the tendrils, just the bare remnants of what the story was supposed to be. But the execution is so piss poor. It's hard to read. I mean this so literally. I would rather, in the hot Florida sun in the middle of August and 190 degree, rub my bare labia across the concrete than have the plain displeasure of reading this comic again. And that is me being nice.
It truly is.
I have read some bad comics. Mm-hmm. And
we get them on here all the time.
And the reason why this comic ends up making me mad instead of like this comic hurts me is because there's just I can't find a reason why it's so bad. There's no reason.
I can. Because personally, I love the creator. I love the person that created this with his wife and is like, this is our homegrown theme. But his huge following is to his detriment because nobody's going to tell him what it is. Think about every issue that we read immediately after, where the cliffhanger is halfway through the next issue. It's not, here's the cliffhanger, now tune in next week. You're mid-conversation and the issue ends. And then halfway through the next issue, oh, now this is the tune in next. So there's no payoff for waiting. There's no potential for waiting. But what do you see at the end of each issue? A whole bunch of people, yo, this is fire.
Right.
Fire emoji, winky face.
This has to become a TV show. We need this. Fire, flame emoji, art's work.
What?
Flame emoji, fire, love it. She
Absolutely
said brain
crazy.
hellfire, and I was like, oh my damn.
Man.
This is flame. Now this chapter is lit. Flame, I love the calamity.
This chapter. Yeah.
Oh damn, I love the art and the character designs. Papa Legba. It's not even fucking Papa Legba.
That's not even Papa Legba. The people, if you're gonna pull references from a religion, a culture, a nationality, something local, you have to pay respect to where you got the reference from. You had Jamie use Sun Wukong's cudgel. That little bow staff that extends.
His whole aesthetic was basically Sun Wukong.
It was
the way it was, but it didn't even
no respect.
It gave no.
You said introducing Papa Legba, but that's not Papa Legba.
That's supposed to be Baron Samedi. Supposed to be Baron Samedi, but is that even
two separate personalities? And you're 0 for 2 for this one character. But at least as far as like the witchcraft,
know who got Baron Samedi, right?
Who did?
Crescent City Monsters.
Oh yeah.
Crescent City Monsters actually took and respected Louisiana culture and hoodoo and voodoo
1,000%.
And they got it right.
But
it takes a Google search.
But
it's just the thing that bothers me so much is that how can he always comes online and says this is a comic for my black people, for this comic is supposed to be safe for my children, this comic is supposed to be for my black people, about our melanin, empowering us. Great. I made God a woman because I wanted women to know that they're special and they wanted to know that they have power. I gave everyone power, and like it's just like, yes, you did all of these things.
Yeah, but he undercut the Queen God immediately.
The fan base.
The elements are there, but there was no effort in the execution.
I'm sorry. Even with that, there are plenty of resources. There are plenty of references. There is a company called Indie Comics Dispatch. Shout out to them. That their whole platform is dedicated to rising and uplifting creators. There are resources out there. There are people who do master classes. Godhood Comics does a comic book writing class.
Oh yeah, Godhood Comics does. Yo, yeah. And they hold that class regularly. And
I've done it. There are people if he's one thing. I think that I keep saying one thing, but this must be the creme de la creme of what makes me angry about this. Is that this is on Black Sands Publishing app. Under Black Sands.
Yeah.
The Black Sands.
Yeah.
The Black Sands that just, as of the recording of this episode, just won, $500,000 or whatever?
$500,000 for 30% stake in the company.
$500,000 to produce anime, manga, whatever the fuck they want to produce. $500,000 invested into their company by Kevin Hart and the rest of Shark Tank themselves, so that Black voices can be uplifted. And I have, mind you, I have read a lot of the comics on BSP. Some of them are great. This is not one that should be promoted. This is bad.
Next time we have to find a good reference.
I can give you a couple. Delta Dogs on BSP app.
Delta does?
Great.
I'm about to write that one down. You saying that one actually gives
Delta Dogs? I liked it. Monarch's great. Macchiato, I think is pretty decent.
Macchiato, I saw that one.
I think it's Macchiato. My apologies.
Macchiato?
Yeah, they're also a great overall comic studio. They make great comics. Okay. There's another Blaque Spartans. Blaque Spartans on the app. I quite like it. And actually, Macchiato Studios did the art for Blaque Spartans. There are good comics on this app. Flame is not one of them. And for Flame to have been promoted just doesn't make sense to me. And I will say this more than one time again. Just because you can create your own doesn't mean you can create it well. So if I have any final thoughts about this comic, this needs to be redone. If you want to redo it, if you feel the urge to, if you feel the audacity, the love, if you have any love for this comic, you will redo it. If you want this to have the reception it deserves, not just your fans, this needs to be redone.
And your fans aren't really your fans if they can't tell you.
Oh my gosh.
If they can't, because the other side of supporting is wanting something to grow. I can't just say, what you have, it is what it is. Keep it that way. And I know some shit is fucked up with it. Because that's not fair to you. I can't really be your fan if all that I'm not a sycophant. I'm not going to be a yes man. So if I'm serious about the ratings that I give here, or serious about the work that I produce myself, if I was the one editing and you're like, keep that in, and I'm like, fix it Grammarly. Use Grammarly, use autocorrect. You can fire me, but this better be better.
Listen,
I respect and appreciate him that much to tell him that. So for people that, if it struck a nerve with you, why did you not tell him the stuff that we saw? Because we're looking at the same comics, right?
Hopefully.
So the other side of support is being able to tell somebody, hey, I don't like this album, and out on your own.
I think that they like the idea of this comic, but not what this is. Like I said, at this point, I've drinking half a bottle of soju. I've drank half a cup of coffee. I'm caffeinated and exhausted all at the same time. This comic has literally taken so much out of me. Taken so much out of me.
Good job editing that word. Appreciate it.
This comic has literally taken so much from me, and it's only because I'm so passionate about comics. If I didn't give a shit about this comic, if I didn't give a shit about this creator, I wouldn't have taken literally fucking at this point 3 hours doing a podcast about the level of intensity of this comic. I wouldn't have taken 3 hours to sit here and go through 20 plus issues of garbage.
We spent our entire Sunday talking about this bullshit.
Entire Sunday, and took 3 days to read it because it was bad.
Wait, but we don't support black people though. We're just trying to keep each other down. We're supposed to be uplifting. And to people that say that are just afraid of getting dog walked for disagreeing, let me ask you this. I ask you to take all 19 issues of Flame, and I want you to take, because we're going black creator to black creator, so you can't have any kind of false confirmation bias. Okay? And I'm going to put Crescent City Monsters, because in both cases they have a Baron Samedi. And
Magic too.
So I'm gonna put this scenario. We're gonna give a very straightforward setting. You're standing before the Council of White People. It's literally called Council of White People. Bear with me. You're standing before the Council of White People. And they say, if you give me a good-ass comic that's on the same level or better of anything DC or Marvel can throw at you, we will end racism. As in, your credit score goes up 100 points. If you're a homeowner, you get fair market value. You actually get that promotion that you're overqualified for. Police will actually stop you only if your taillight is out and walk the fuck away and actually de-escalate situations. If you give us your best work as like, this is what black people have to offer, and in your left hand, you have 20 issues of Flame, and in your right hand, you have 3 issues of Crescent City Monsters.
3 issues? Not even the 4th?
No, just the first 3 issues. Just the first 3. A black and white comic by a black creator giving dedication to black culture. They both have all black cast, except for the police dude in black. Read Crescent City Monsters. Just the first 3 issues. Forget the 4th. You don't deserve it because we're not in that part of the debate yet. You tell me with a straight face that you're still going to choose Flame over CSM, and tell me why you're not really a fan of King and Queen Lion. Fair. This is the chance to end racism, where your friend stops asking to touch your hair and actually calls them locks instead of dreads. Where you actually don't have a racist uncle at Thanksgiving that's reinforcing to their kid that you are less than them. All of that goes away if you show the right all-black created comic.
I would not spend money on
if I comic. Invested money and this is what you threw at me, I'd never invest again.
If someone was like...
this is it, guys. Well, this is it for me too.
Money, if I even paid $1, I would be pissed about spending my $1.
Wait, but... imagine that this gets back to him. And if he actually takes our critiques, everything we laid out, because it took 1 hour and 40 minutes to do you justice to work that took you, I imagine, hours and hours of lettering and planning and all
really
that.
More we could go into.
We absolutely could. But imagine he took all of our critiques, erased all of it, just like how Full Metal Alchemist did Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And he came back with the fucking fire. And I'm talking about not just the writing changes, but now the art actually has structured panels and backgrounds that change with the transformations.
Maybe hiring one other person to
just hire an editor. Just hire an editor. Hire somebody you don't like.
Take the art. And if I would take the art all over again if you could give me a better story. I'm still sticking by that.
The dragons don't have scales.
Okay, so add scales. Like
the snake has tumors.
That was our very lengthy, I'm so sorry, damn near 2-hour review of Flame by Black Page Comics, written by Everett Montgomery.
100 minutes of honesty.
If you choose to read this comic for yourself to form your own opinion and you have not already, it is available on the Black Sands Publishing app. You can download it on either fucking Apple Store or Android's Play Store.
The Google Play Store.
However, I do want to let you know there is like a point system, so just like kind of like webtoons, like if you get to a certain point, you have to like get coins or whatever. Also, the BSP app has like its system, so if you read more Black Sands, you actually get more coins. So just keep that in mind if you're trying to binge it like we did. So with that being said, just in case you haven't decided to flame us or put this on Twitter and yell at me for however long, here's where you can find us. Go ahead, Lloyd.
Alright, so I always introduce myself as Space Lloyd 8 because that's exactly how you can find me on the majority of my platforms. So you have TikTok, I'm there. Instagram, also Space Lloyd 8, I'm there. You can also catch me streaming regularly on Twitch at roughly any time of the day because I edit those and put those on YouTube for Space Case Camp, where you'll catch all the clips. Mainly D&D stuff, but we definitely have a lot of good convo talking while I stream anything in general and nothing in particular. So that's it for me.
And for me, it's your girl Ty Black and Culture. You can catch me on IG as Black and Culture Official, on TikTok at Black and Culture, Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I think I'm kind of funny on Twitter. Say it again. Say it again.
Ow!
Right in your throat. Anywho, it's Black and Culture 1. YouTube, Black and Culture. Also, just follow me as Black and Culture. Just spell it right. And of course, we do have another podcast that is not as heavy as this one.
It isn't.
It's a lot of fun. It's just 4 people dicking around, having a good time, talking about shit. And that is the Good Culture Podcast. It's featuring myself, Mr. Lloyd, as well as Queen Miyazaki, formerly known as the Prettiest Otaku, and Exo Takamura, who is the funniest fucking person I have ever met.
That's my dude right there.
And yeah, and that's it. I'm good.
That's it. That's all. I'm about to burn my notes and reclaim my life.
Yep. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
villainous beast.